Hello everyone, Maurice here, and today Axie Infinity released a new project called Project T, and it is a social kind of game, like a platform I would say for Lunacians to hang out with their Axies, interact with their Axies, and also interact with other players. So this video is really just about a first look at the game, the gameplay, right, and also of course sharing a bit about my thoughts on the game. So let's first of all just actually get into the game and show you what it's like. And here it is. It is a game where you can move around, right? So this is basically my homeland. I think home base. I think that's what they call it, right? And you can see this is my house, and I can go in, and then you can see one of my Axie is sleeping here, resting here, and I can also sleep as well. But of course, for the sake of the video, I probably won't. And then let's just go out and explore my home base. So my home base here is another Axie that I have, right? I already kind of imported them here. And you can import up to 3 axes, I think, right? So these are the 3 that I chose. And okay, let's just walk around. And so first of all, here is where you can offer to a tier to get some rewards. So the rewards is basically, and at this point, I think it's just in-game stuff, right? And then here's a dojo, which one of my Axie is also training pretty hard. And one thing you can do is actually to interact with the Axie, right? You can give it a gift. Of course, I'll just let it continue training. So for training, what you get is actually some energies. Right? To get energy, you need some training. You can also train as well. Actually, something I forgot to show. Maybe I just go back in just to quickly see. Right, I can also do training as well, so I can start training. But of course, for now, I just want to walk around and show you different parts of the home base. So this is one part of the game where it's more about like your axes, right, and you can do different activities. I can also interact with this Axie and ask it to do training, but there are other tasks. If there are other tasks to do, I can also ask my Axies to do, but for now they're not much, just because I have done quite a bit already. So let's just walk around, and then I just go to the farm. So one thing I forgot to show is actually that here. So I should have shown the map actually, right? So that's just the house that we were at. My 2 axes were here, and then the dojo is up here, the tier is here, and then here's a farm. So let's just get to the farm, and then I'll go to the garden later, and at the bottom you can go to town. Okay, let's just go to here, and I already have a cow here, and I already done like kind of the stuff I needed to do, and so I'm just like waiting at this point. I think basically every maybe an hour or two or something, right? You come back, and then you probably need to feed the cow, I assume in this case, and then I'll just show you my garden as well. And I didn't know that we can go up the slope like this. And this is my garden, planting some pumpkins here. And yeah, next step, I assume is like watering. Will be soon, and then you have to water a while, and yeah, multiple times I think to get the harvest. And you can see there are shards here that you can gain through playing the game. And these shards can be exchanged for pumpkin seeds or for just hiring the cow or something, or feeding the cow. And in my inventory, I have a pumpkin at the moment. I harvested it earlier. And yeah, so that is basically like what you can do at the moment in your home base, right? So there's a bit of farming stuff. Of course, it's a prototype. One thing I should say is like they don't even have a name for this game yet, right? It is just a prototype. But it's looking, I would say I quite like the art style. One thing that I probably don't like as much is like they say the movement here is a bit awkward, and also the Axie in terms of that, it looks pretty good, but it just doesn't quite blend in with like the art style here. So yeah, maybe we will see some changes. But those are really just minor points. Let's actually go into town. To get to town, you actually need an Axie. So I have an Axie that is like resting. When I say resting, I mean like not sleeping and not training and not doing other things. Then I can bring it to town. Okay, I just closed the chat box so that we can actually see the town. And you can see in the town, oh, okay, first of all, is I wanna, there's like this fire bug thing that I can actually try and interact. No, okay, I didn't, someone else caught the bug. It's alright. So basically, there are some bugs that you can, fireflies that you can catch, and then here is basically the town where this is the busiest part of the town. You see many different players. And there are 2 different mini games as well. I don't think I'll go into them. But yeah, there are 2 mini games that you can play as well. Oh, Ryan is here. A lot of people are, are here, and also, of course, you can chat as well. You can see people are chatting here. Yeah, and it's pretty good, right? So I can also just say hi here if I wanted to, and just say hi. Whoop, wait, my keyboard not really working too well, but it's all right. So let's just not say hi for now. It's just because my keyboard not working. Okay, so let's just walk around, and in a way, to be honest, that's basically how it is at the moment. The main thing is really about interacting with different people, showing your axes. So someone have very similar axes as me. Summer axes pretty common. Well, not, yeah, it is pretty common, I would say, compared to the others. And yeah, so far it's literally just this. So in terms of like progression, it's not much yet. To be honest, the mini game is quite fun, but of course it's not something that you come back and play again and again. It is more about being able to actually see different people and show off your axes, see other people's axes. So this is mainly how it is. Okay, so let me just get back to my blog post, and I do want to go through more about my thoughts on the game. So first of all, is do check it out, and I have links on the blog post as well for the official links to Project T. And there's some tutorials as well from the official websites. Well, I'm not going to go into it. I'm just going to share my thoughts. You've already seen most of these, so I'm not going to go into it. Oh, one thing I forgot to show is the quest system. There's actually a daily quest where once you complete, then you get some rewards like the shards, basically, right? So that you can get more pumpkins, get more milk. Okay, and then yeah, here is just basically my screenshots of showing my gameplay and then interacting with Axie. So for me, I think this is a pretty big step forward, I must say, right? Being able to interact with your Axies. Okay, so that's already a pretty big thing. Now, of course, at the moment, pretty limited, but I'm pretty sure like there will be more stuff that you can do. Then the other thing is interacting with other players, right, with your Axies, and that is a pretty big thing that I think since Axie begins, that's one of their visions, right? Is okay, it's like a digital pet where you can bring around and then you can hang out with friends. So this is basically the kind of metaverse that yeah, you can do, and then of course you can chat with friends, that kind of thing. And here's actually one example of a mini game. In this case, face an easy opponent, where the goal of the game is just to get 5 dots at 5 points in a row, or not in a row, but like in a line. Doesn't have to be, it could be straight, horizontal, or diagonal. And so those are the kind of mini game that you can play. But of course, those are at the moment not really something that is attractive enough for people to come back again and again. So this is part of, I won't say a criticism, but something to look forward to. So yeah, basically my thoughts. Obviously, don't expect you to read all this, but it's more for me to remind myself. So basically, at the moment, I quite like the art style, but as I said, right, just maybe the art style of the Axie and maybe the character movement, and actually there's not much character customization as well, so you can see most of the characters, if I go back to like, looks pretty similar, right? But of course there are different hairstyle, eyes and stuff, but definitely more can be done there. But as a prototype, like it is good enough, right? Just to show that it's there. The main thing that I think will need to be developed is really that there's really not much incentive for people to come back and keep playing every day, right? Because there's no game loop at the moment. Okay, sure, you can just come out, hang out, walk around, but after a certain point, why would you come back, right? So there should be some progression system and some reward system. So I think Ji already mentioned there will be some sort of AXP kind of related progression system, right? Where coming here, you can level up your axes, and that's effectively one very good incentive for you to come to Project T, just to hang out there. Maybe like just the time you spend or like the activities you do there can then level up your axes. Then you can translate that into other games, right? Maybe you can in the future so-called level up and upgrade your parts, and then that could have an impact on other games using that Axie. So I think that is like the main incentive. It will be interesting to see whether there will be like any AXS or SLP kind of thing introduced here. But to be honest, I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing. That's because I do feel like we already have too much SLP circulating around, so yeah, it's not a good thing to remit more SLP. But if you do have like make it a cost for SLP or AXS, then it's yeah, then people might not come, right? If you have to pay SLP just to do something, then yeah, it might not be worth it for a lot of people. So I do think that it's not really too necessary. I think AXP itself might be good as long as there's some incentive to gain AXP. At the moment, there's really not much. So hopefully that will be part of the gameplay. And in terms of like a social platform, I think it'll be good to have more social aspect. Of course, now it's just walking around. People can type stuff, right? The chat in a way, and then the mini game really is random matching, right? In terms of the opponent, so it's also not like you can invite your friends to play a particular player kind of thing. But obviously, I mean, those mini games is it's literally just like casual, right? But it'll be good to. Of course, I don't want it to be a competitive game, but I do feel like having some sort of group or maybe guild kind of system, and then a certain group of players or guild can I would say it doesn't have to be compete, right? It could be just like come together and complete certain tasks, right? Like maybe just okay, like milk how many cows or something, right? Or like plant how many pumpkins, right? And I think that would be good. Just to get people together to complete a certain task, and then you get certain rewards. It could just be in game, it doesn't matter, right? It's just so that people have an incentive to come back, get together, and then do something in the game. So that's kind of the direction I hope to see. And I will, in terms of onboarding, I do feel like Project T could be a very, very like good tool for onboarding new players, and because hopefully it's going to be a more casual kind of game, right? Where you don't have to learn all the cards and stuff. You really just starting with maybe new players can just come with the starter axes, all right, 3 starter axes or something, and then you can do the normal stuff and then hang out with your friends and then maybe level up your axes and then like do different activities. But then, of course, at some point, hopefully, right, some of the players might think, oh, maybe like, it's a good idea to get their own axes, and also that they can level up their own axes as opposed to, maybe a lot of people will be using starter axes if they're starting out, like a new player. Right, then get their own axes and then level them up, and maybe they will then explore other games in the ecosystem, in the axes ecosystem. So that's kind of the vision, I think, right, where people just buy axes, in this case for ownership, but also for like cosmetic purposes first, and then maybe use it for other things in the other games. And in terms of existing Lunacians, right, people who play Axes, at the moment, I think, yeah, it's already achieving what a lot of people wanted Project T to achieve, I feel. It's just be able to interact with your Axes and then show off your Axes to other people and walk around and just chat. So, of course, this is a first step, I do feel. And I hope that there will be more to come, right? Especially I'm thinking about like landowners might have some perks in terms of their home base or something, might have different themes. If you have a Arctic plot, it might be that, you have some Arctic theme, whereas like forest plot might be a forest theme kind of thing, maybe. So that it gives people an incentive to like own a land and like you get something in this game as well. And even land items, right? Maybe could be just a cosmetic, or it could actually have some usage in terms of just maybe the pumpkin grow faster or something, right? So I think that could integrate a lot of those components into Project T would be good. And yeah, I think that's pretty much like my thoughts on Project T. Hopefully a onboarding tool for Sky Mavis to get more people into Axie. And yeah, just keep people more engaged. And I think one thing that I don't think I kind of mentioned here yet, I do want to highlight, right, is that the ability to be able to walk around with your axes, right, here, yes, right, and just interact with axes is already a very big step forward in building an emotional kind of bond between players and their axes, right? Because at the moment, a lot of there are players who attach to certain axes, but I feel like a lot of players are just okay, like they only play maybe Origins or something, right? And they just buy and sell their Axies just because they are the meta Axies, right? Like you don't really get to uh, form a deeper kind of bond with your Axies. So I do hope that the project T could be a step in actually for you to build a certain relationship with your Axie is similar to like in a way it is a digital pet, right? You want to actually build that relationship so that then yeah, it just makes the game more engaging. So similar to, I can think of it as like an MMORPG, right, where you invest a lot in your character, right? Then you form a certain kind of connection to the character that you have invested in. And I do feel like with Project T, you can do the same with Axie. Okay, and I think that is pretty much it. So hopefully you like it, and do let me know in the comments whether you've tried out the game yet. So, one thing I should mention is that the game is only available for certain groups of players. So, Mystic Axie holders, landowners, if you top 100 in season 1 and to 4, and Origins Axie's owner. So, not everyone has it yet. But ideally, of course, the ideal case is that once it's officially released, it should be open to everyone. I hope it's not just for Axie owners, but literally everyone. Then onboard people to become Axie owners. So that's really the main goal, I feel. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.